Hey viewers, welcome to VL Astrology. Once again, I'm Vanita Lenka. I'm a Vedic astrologer, and today I'm going to be discussing a very important transit which is going to be taking place on the 15th of March, and that Sun's ingress in the Sidereal Pisces. And as you all know, we have Ashwin as usual with me on this platform because of the mundane and the basic readings. Hi Ashwin, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So we are going to be discussing this Chaitra Shukla Paksha Pratipada also, which is happening on the 19th March at 6:52 a.m. The Pratipada begins, and it is Chaitra Navratri, Yugadi, Gudi Parva in North Indian lunar reckoning. So we are going to be discussing what exactly is the horoscope which is rising on this particular day, and then we'll be doing the global and mundane predictions, and then we finally move on to the 12 sign readings. So I'm going to be sharing with you all the chart of the day Sun ingresses in the Pisces sign, and we do have Saturn getting combust, and Venus is going to be exalted, and then Mars also joins in. So Mercury also joins in for a few days. So all my insights, and Ashwin will definitely be sharing his insights. So in a bit. So let me share with you the screen regards to the, okay, where is it? Second. And I hope we all are audible because this is a live session. 1 second. Yeah. This takes time. I don't know where the screen went. Yeah. So do let me know if you can see the screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Over to you, Ashwin. Please let us know what is happening on the day when Sun ingresses in the sign. So this is the horoscope of Scorpio ascendant. Please take over.
Can you just scroll a bit down so that the top portion? Yeah, that's fine. No. Yeah,
Okay.
this is fine.
Okay.
So yeah, Sun's ingress into Pisces. If you see, I think we have Scorpio rising, and the rising is in Jyeshta. But overall, as we know, the geopolitical situation in the world is completely altered, and overall it is fragmented because of the war in Iran. And the war in Iran is not a normal thing, and as you know, we are already facing problems because of LPG, and Iran war is not going to be very easy because of the strait through which all the transport of oil or other trade related items travel. So Iran has blocked, and given that Israel has already attacked a place that is related to oil, where oil is refined and produced, I don't think Iran is going to take things very easy. But on the other hand, there is also hope for talks to move forward. But given that, what is India gaining or losing from all this is the $1 million question that we all have, and only that is relevant for us. Given that Mercury is retrograde, Mercury is the lord of the 8th house and the 11th house, and Mercury is retrograde in the 4th house. So 4th house is this dwelling place or the underground, because 10th house is where sun culminates, and 7th house is where sun sets, and 4th house is where the sun anti-culminates, which is midnight, and 4th house is related to all the deeper things such as oil. And Mars and Rahu are placed there, and Mercury is also placed there, but Mercury is retrograde, and therefore there is going to be some kind of challenges related to oil and trade related matters. So there will be a lot of disruptions, but I don't see this moving forward. In my another analysis, I also mentioned it on my own YouTube channel, that there will be a government that is not authoritarian, which will be installed in Iran, and I suppose that will happen sometime by next month or mid of next month. But at least until then, we are going to have this uncertain situation. But with Venus in Pisces, people think that Venus in Pisces is good for talks, but Venus will be conjunct Saturn very soon, and Venus also will be combust by Sun. So this entire transit of Sun, Saturn in Pisces, which is also water, is going to create a lot of problems related to oil and other liquid related energy uh, supplements or whatever you may want to call it. So I wouldn't think that this is a very good period as such, especially with too much of affliction in the fourth house with Mars, Rahu, and Mercury retrograde. I think the domestic situation is also really challenging. Inflation is rising. The crude oil has already touched $125 mark. A barrel is already $125 mark. So it's not very easy for India also, but still the government is somehow maintaining without increasing the oil prices too much. But I think eventually we will have to go through all those things that will potentially create social chaos. Aquarius is society, and we have Rahu and Mars with Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, which is also the fourth house, which basically indicates that social discrimination or social unrest is being created as a result of two malefics. And we should also be very careful about any war or war related matters that is concerning India, and that also should be very, very carefully watched. And I'm pretty sure the government is taking its own steps to ensure that the Indian sovereignty is not compromised. And I think in one of our earlier videos we mentioned that with Ketu in Leo, we will be seeing some kind of a assassination or elimination of a leader at the top level or national level. And as we see, unfortunately, the Iran's supreme leader was gone, and Ketu is still in Leo, and Mars is opposing. At least now it is past the opposition. But if you consider February 28th, the opposition was much closer, and I mean it was very early, like 7 or 8 degrees of Aquarius and closing into Rahu. And on the other hand, we have Leo as a royal sign indicating government administration and kingship. So along with Aries and Sagittarius. So any malefic influence in Leo is naturally going to bring in some kind of a challenge. And one more thing, if we notice, going back to Mahabharata, it's in Mahabharata, it is a reference that whenever Rohini Nakshatra is afflicted, there will be destruction to humanity. And here we are seeing that Ketu is 14 degrees and Rahu is 14 degrees. Maybe a little earlier, it was probably 15 degrees or so. Now it's come to 14 degrees. And Mars was probably around 7 or 8ish degrees. So from there, Mars will directly aspect. I know Indian tradition does not consider aspects to nakshatras, but it is important to note when the planets are configured with those particular degrees within the zodiac sign. So Rohini begins at the 11th degree of Taurus. That is after the end of 10 degrees of Taurus, which marks the 11th degree. That is where Rohini Nakshatra begins. And anytime we see a Ptolemaic aspect, that is trine, 159 relationship, squares 1, 4, 7, 10, and sextiles 3, 11 relationship. Whenever this relationship happens with Rohini, we will always see some kind of a destruction to humanity. There will either be an accident, or there will be killings, mass shootings, or there will be some kind of a war that is going or taking up to the next level. And the one more interesting fact here is that the eclipse has always been very, very critical for Iran. And the solar eclipse was on February 17th, which was not visible in India, but lunar eclipse was slightly visible in parts of India. And this was much more visible slightly in Iran also. And this war started like 3-4 days right before the lunar eclipse. So we should not ignore the eclipse, and eclipse always marks something major. While it might seem to be very, very small at this point, I think overall the eclipse always indicates something major and something big to look forward to. And as far as I'm concerned, in my own analysis, this is a precursor to a major conflict, geopolitical military conflict that could spark sometime in the late 2027 or 2028. So that is something that we should be aware of. And to start with, this chart has Jupiter in the eighth house, so which means that somehow there is a saving grace. Eighth house, a natural benefic planet placed in the eighth house. At least India will be slightly safeguarded because of the malefics, despite the malefics placements in the fourth house. So there is going to be social unrest. There is going to be disharmony in India. Social media is going to erupt because of Mars and Rahu in Aquarius and Mercury is retrograde. We should be very, very careful about misinformation and falsified informations that are making rounds on social media. But Jupiter is aspecting very closely, be it Rahu or Mars or Mercury. So that is a saving grace to Jupiter's aspect does not mitigate the certainty of what is going to happen, but Jupiter's aspect is going to mitigate despite a lot of challenges. The nation will find its way. So ninth aspect of Jupiter is all about paving the way and also still following the ethical rules and guidelines. And there is going to be someone who is guiding the administrative level or top level. 10th house Ketu indicates a little bit of a agony or challenges within the administrative level. The king is not as confident as he used to be because Mr. Modi is not used to taking orders from other people, and he was trying to kind of keep Trump at bay, but ultimately they had to give in to kind of reduce the tariffs by America, and India reduced its oil purchase from Russia, and now it is almost everywhere in the news that America is allowing India to buy oil from Russia for a period of 1 month. And Ketu in the 10th house shows that the king is not necessarily happy taking orders from other people. But I think Sun in the 5th house, the ruler of Leo, Sun placed in the 5th house, shows that there is going to be some kind of slow gains in terms of authority by the king. And the moment Sun gets very, very close to the middle of Pisces, this will be very clear. In another 15 to 16 days, I think the government will find its way, although if it won't be fully there, but I think the government will surely find its way. So Moon in the 3rd house as the 9th ruler, Moon in detriment, placed exactly in the opposite of its rulership, that is Cancer. So Moon is not really comfortable in the 3rd house. There is going to be a little bit of confusion as far as the decision making in the nation goes. But still, I think overall the final decision will be a little victorious or something that is taking us close to victorious, because Moon in Uttarashada is about embodiment of victory. So it's although it is going to start in a challenging way, I think the 3rd house Moon eventually will bring something better for the nation. The Lord of the 7th and the 12th in the 5th house, Venus, is exalted, which means that 7th house in Mundane Astrology is direct or open enemies. So there will be comments, there will be statements made by opposing countries. India won the T20 World Cup, and the entire cricketing fraternity is completely against India, and they're saying that Shoaib Akhtar, former Pakistani fast bowler, made a comment that India is like this rich boy calling all the poor fellows and beating them. Who asked you not to play, man? We played well and we won the game. So such nonsensical comments will be there on social media, and other opposing countries will treat India slightly in a difficult way, which is hard for us to swallow. And precisely because of so much of malefics, especially Mars conjunct Rahu, there will be some comments like this and there will be statements like this. I think it is important for us to stay away from social media, stay away from the news channels as much as possible, and keep our sanity and ensure that Venus in Pisces is not going to show the other side, which is the ugly one, but also it has the ability to show the better side. So I think in a way it is important for us to explore spirituality and Vedic texts and take that kind of a route, because Saturn in Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra, in Pisces is an opportunity for all of us, including as a nation, to kind of do the behind the scenes progress, but not really show off to anyone that we are doing something. We need to do a lot behind the scenes, behind the closed doors, And as a nation, I think we should keep doing that. I'm pretty sure the Modi government is taking care of all those things. They have astrologers helping them. So they will be lying behind the scenes for as long as Saturn is transiting Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. And so many people who are critiquing the current government, saying that they're taking orders from United States. I think it should be, I mean, it is not very, very explicit and visible for many people to see how difficult it is to be at a place where we need to take care of the people also, but also not kind of give in to the other nation. So overall, I think the government has done what it thought is best for its people, and it is to be seen with Venus in the seventh house in exaltations. The aim and the and the opinion of what the nation is administration is doing is actually very good. But overall, I think we should be careful about attacks on India, terror attacks, or any kind of violence within India. The domestic violence could also flare up, and we should be very, very careful about all those things. But overall, it's a challenging time for India. Economy is going to slightly be suffering for this period. Trade is going to be suffering because Mercury is retrograde. Mercury, the Lord of the 8th and the 11th, is retrograde in the 4th house, which means the nation is currently spending its savings. And 5th house, of the prominence of the 5th house, Sun in the 5th house, the 10th ruler, 5th house. 5th house is all about savings, the credit that we have as a nation. And the nation is slowly depleting its savings. Depleting in the sense it is spending from its savings, and there is much less scope to make money during this period, primarily because of the war. So this is largely an external situation which the government is trying to contain, and we just need to wait for another 15 days or so for the government to kind of completely take control of whatever is happening. But I think the second half will be reasonably okay, with Mars leaving Aquarius by early April or 31st of March, whatever the date it is, and Mercury turns direct by 19th or 20th of March. So things are going to move forward. Things are going to get a little better than what it is today. So the best thing that we can do is bite our teeth and stay our ground and hope that we are going towards the better path, because I'm pretty sure this is very temporary.
Great to know that it is temporary, Ashwin. Yes, so
Yeah, I think it's temporary for sure.
for sure. I am very optimistic with whatever is going on, and as we know that it is going to be, now I'm going to be giving my viewpoint. Like most of the points are matching up with you, Ashwin. First of all, to start with, Sun is going to be entering Pisces on the 15th of March, 1:08 a.m. India time, New Delhi time. And then the Chaitra Shukla Pratipada begins, which is the Hindu lunar New Year. I wish you all a very happy New Year. That is what we celebrate as Hindus. But I don't want to confuse everyone, because we know it is on the 1st of January. So it's perfectly fine if you celebrate it on the 1st of Jan. But as Vedic astrologers, we celebrate our Hindu lunar New Year. That is on the 19th of March, and it's a Thursday. And it is a pratipada after the Amavasya or the new moon. So new moon is until 6:52 a.m. and then Shukla pratipada starts. And the nakshatra is Uttar Bhadrapada, okay, where this pratipada is going to be. So this is what is as per the Vikram Samvat 2083 Siddharathi. Now, why this Chaitra Shukla Pratipada matters so much this year? This tithi is not just a calendrical beginning. In mundane Jyotish, it reveals the psychological seed of the year. And this year's seed is unusually meaningful because the year begins on a Thursday. So the Lord of the year becomes Guru, Jupiter, right? Yes. So because that is how we calculate it. So what is the Guruvian stamp? That is dharma, law, wisdom, counsel, ideology, morality, education, religion, guidance, and the struggle between higher principles and practical corruption. So now when we see that what is this Vikram Samvat 2083 going to be, which is Siddharthi, which itself carries the idea of attainment, directed purpose, and karmic fulfillment through correction rather than indulgence. Now, this is not a lightweight year, but this is a year that asks humanity to re-establish meaning, ethics, law, and direction. This Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is going to be in Uttara Bhadrapada. I will definitely come to the Scorpio reading also, and I will blend it, that why the Scorpio rising is also so important. So this is something, which everybody should know, that the year does not begin with Ashwini, Bharani, or some outwardly fiery launch energy. It is beginning on the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra energy, which is a nakshatra of depth, which is the nakshatra of karmic settlement, which is the nakshatra of inner maturity, endings before renewal, and spiritual stabilization. That is why I am stressing on this even more. Okay. And this means that the year opens with hidden karma surfacing, old institutional burdens demanding closure, public fatigue with superficial leadership, spiritual seriousness replacing glamour, slow but irreversible restructuring. So Chaitra Shukla Pratipada is not New Year instant celebration energy. It is the new year, but first clear the debris of the old age. That is why when Saturn also is in the last sign, it definitely is the ending time of the old patterns. Okay. So when this is the Guru's year, so because the new year starts on Thursday, the year gets this rulership, weekdays rulership. So Jupiter year can bless education, religion, diplomacy, scholarship, social optimism. So this is definitely a very positive time because Jupiter is placed in the 8th house also of the Scorpio Lagna. So the year lord is not operating from an easy, visible, prosperous place, remember. This is the chart of solar ingress in the sign. But when we put up the chart of Chaitra Shukla Paksha Pratipada, that is a different chart altogether. But when we look at this sun's ingress, it means that this is the house of disclosure, debt, morality, hidden wealth, taxes, research, secrecy, scandal, deep transformation. So it becomes like a karmic surgeon, not like a festive benefactor. Okay. So what we can manifest during this time? We can manifest major legal and constitutional debates, exposure of hidden financial structures, debt, taxation, insurance, or banking reform. Moral and religious narratives become politically central. Scholars, advisors, courts, think tanks, and ideological institutions will gain influence. Scandals coming out in the name of cleansing. We are already experiencing that. Now, the meaning of Siddharthi Samvatsara is, it suggests attainment, accomplishment, fulfillment of aim, or reaching a result through disciplined direction. But attainment here does not look casual. It is about New Year and your solar ingress chart, which because of this Saturn is pretty heavy. 8th house Jupiter, nodal tension. Siddhi of this year comes to correction, purification, spiritual seriousness, and collapse of false narratives. So this year does not carry achievement, but not through it does carry achievement, but not through comfort. It carries achievement through karmic refinement. Now this Scorpio rising, moon in Capricorn in the 3rd house, Rahu and Mars retrograde, Mercury in the 4th, Sun at 0 degrees Pisces in the 5th with Saturn, and exalted Venus, Jupiter in the 8th, Ketu in the 10th. Now this year is of strategy, secrecy, and exposed undercurrents. So Scorpio Lagna always says alliances become tactical, intelligence networks becomes more relevant, Nations act defensively and public trust stays low. Okay. Now, this is a hidden depth theme, which is again Scorpio and Chaitra Pratipada, also Uttar Bhadrapada Nakshatra, as I said. Moon in the third house, public mood becomes guarded, logistical, and message driven. The masses are not sentimental in this chart. They are curious, they are watchful, mentally burdened. The third house also emphasis on media, communication, transport, border, narratives, and neighboring states, and strategic messaging central. So expect sharp media cycles, diplomatic signaling, and also narrative wars. Transport and logistic becomes headlines. Border management becomes emotionally charged. And also Rahu plus Mars 1 degree apart with retrograde Mercury in the fourth. Domestic instability is the loudest warning. So this is one of the strongest danger signatures in the chart. The fourth house is in the mundane astrology is the homeland, peace, land, agriculture, weather, infrastructure, public comfort, housing, vehicles, international emotional stability. So Rahu and Mars at 1 degree apart, almost at 1 degree apart, because they were closely conjunct on the 2 days back when this chart was put up. So technical accidents, and it brings fire, volatility, ideological rage, disruption, smoke, explosions, agitation, sudden escalations. And Mercury retrograde adds to communication reversals, wrong assessments, policy confusion, data mishaps, transport glitches, and rumor-driven unrest. So I would stress for you guys that this year can bring civil agitation. Be careful. I'm talking about India. This is the chart that we have put up in New Delhi, India. So civil agitation, infrastructure stress, real estate and land disputes, public anger over utilities, roads, housing, or governance, cyber physical disturbances, aggressive propaganda, sudden reversals in internal policy, weather irregularity affecting public systems. Now, as you know, you rightly mentioned society. Aquarius is society, then systems, networks, digital platforms, telecom, aviation, technology grids, and ideologically driven mobilization becomes especially important right now. Saturn, Sun, and Venus are in the 5th house, and power under karmic audit. So this is authority at a threshold. It is entering a new moral field. It is about Saturn-Sun combination. Leadership has to answer to consequences, institutional fatigue, previous karma, systematic limitations, public awareness. And because it is in Uttar Bhadrapada, Saturn tone becomes more dominant symbolically, though it is going to be combust. But still, Saturn is Saturn. So diplomacy, compassion, artistic flowering, religious devotion, healing arts, stronger role of women's concerns because of Venus's presence, relief through culture, cinema, music, and sacred traditions. Saturn writes the audit, but Venus prevents the audit from becoming loveless. So this is a very powerful mundane, on the mundane level, it is a very powerful combination which is forming, but there is also grace, devotion, diplomacy available as remedy. Jupiter is in the 8th house, and Sun is, I think Sun is the minister, right? This year. So a swap of visible power and hidden intelligence. Now, here, Jupiter, the year lord in the 8th house, the real action of the year happens behind the curtains. Wisdom comes through crisis. Economics move through restructuring. Legal and moral issues emerge from hidden zones. Religious and ideological systems become sites of reform and exposure. Sun as a minister placed in the 5th house with Saturn don't take fifth house, but it's still with Saturn, says governance must operate in ambiguity, sacrifice, and karmic accountability. They should, but are they going to be doing that? Ministers, advisors, administrators, and executive systems may appear burdened, defensive, and compelled to act under pressure rather than with confident dominance. So globally, governments trying to manage crisis, they did not fully anticipate, and especially Indian government might have to have some secret negotiations, and reform emerging only after exposure. And Ketu in the 10th house, fall of aura, karmic thinning of leadership. Now, this is again a defining signature, by the way, with Ketu in the 10th house. So this means that the rulers, executive authority, visible state power or public reputation and status. Ketu in the Leo sign cuts the glamour of leadership. It does not always remove power, it removes unquestioned radiance. So leaders may still rule, but their aura weakens. The public starts to see the hollowness behind performance. Charisma may no longer be enough. Okay. Strained detachment between rulers and people, because of the current situation also. So Sun 8th from Ketu must also be seen because Sun is 8th from the 10th house also. So this is hidden threats to the authority. This is very important. There can be inner corrosion in the power structure. There can be credibility issues. Sudden reshuffles of changes in power circle can be seen. Or there can be some scandal or, trust deficits or something to do with leaders becoming vulnerable through health. It can bring about health issues to the government, to officials also. And because Vikram Samvat 2083 starts on a Thursday, because Jupiter is ruling this, it carries Uttar Bhadrapada. So humanity must stop performing wisdom and start living it. This year will not accept arrogance without ethics, systems without soul, growth without truth, leadership without responsibility, information without discernment. It will reward only genuine counsel, dharmic correction, spiritual discipline, compassionate administration, deep reform, intelligent restraint, because Jupiter is in the 8th house. Okay. The governance will go through a lot of pressure and domestic unrest over external certainty is also quite likely. So one must be very cautious because Rahu, Mars, Mercury are also in the 4th house of propaganda, cyber tensions, telecom issues, digital volatility, as I said, AI-linked disruptions and network-triggered panic can also be there. So one must do some kind of water healing, spiritual systems become central also. And that is, like also Pisces, yes, not to forget, Pisces can activate oceans, ports, oil, flooding, hospitals, pharmaceuticals, monasteries, charities, spiritual institutions. Exalted Venus ensures that soft power, culture, prayer, music, beauty, compassionate values remain healing channels in a harsh year. So Vikram Samvat does not begin with a shallow celebration. It begins with Guru's call to restore dharma under the deep karmic waters of Uttar Bhadrapada. So this year is a hidden restructuring, thinning of false power, public unease, and deep moral testing. But also a year in which devotion, wisdom, compassion, and truthful reform can prevent collective decline. Okay. So this is what is the, the month looking like. Yes. Also, I must tell you that we have to see the new moon and full moon energy also. So when we talk about Pisces, this is compassion, endings, transcendence, and ocean spirituality. And major alignment is Venus will be there till the 26th of March. Mars enters on the 2nd of April till the 11th of May. So for a few days, it will be till the 14th, Sun is there. So 2nd to 14th, Mars will be conjunct. Mercury also enters Pisces on the 11th. So 11 to 14, Mercury will be conjunct. Saturn already is there in the Pisces sign. So this means one by one, everybody will be approaching Saturn. And Saturn is the planet of karma, discipline, reality, restructure, restriction, maturity. And when Sun is there, so authority to confront karma. And when Venus meets Saturn, it tests relationship, finances, diplomacy, and Mars brings friction between aggression and restraint. Mercury brings in serious communication, policy debates, and intellectual realism. So it's a deep karmic and transformative one. Also, I want to add here, Ashwin, Saturn is going to get combust from the 13th of March till the 20th of April. So this also becomes a little stressful situation. You know, government can struggle with responsibility, and hidden structural weakness may appear, and authorities feel pressure to correct mistakes. Okay. Though I follow the declination because they will be together on the 17th and the 18th March at 0 degrees 20 minutes minus, that is the southern declination.
Southern declination.
Southern declination. Whenever there is a, as per the declination, when they are together, they are actually combust, the planets are combust at that time. So authority meets karmically accountable to each other, and leadership tests, government pressure, institutional reforms, and exposure. And one more thing I wanted to add here is that, you know, we have a new moon on the 18th of March, and we have a full moon on the 1st of April. So new moon always signifies the closing of the old cycle, and old karmas finish. So I'm very confident that around or after the new moon, things will start settling a bit. Though I see 1 or 2 months more, you know, to settle down the whole scenario that we are caught up in. But we have a full moon on the 1st of April. Now the full moon is illumination and culmination. So matters connected with education, governance, public mood, global diplomacy may reach a peak around this time. And we do have a Yugadi, Gudi Parva, Hindu Lunar New Year also, which is very important. So, and Jupiter being the Lord of the year is wisdom, law, education, religion, ethics, philosophy, and guidance. So, which is definitely that humanity must return to wisdom and dharma. And overall, it's a conflict kind of a period because Mars is also going to be entering here. Mercury is also going to be getting direct. So, which is definitely very positive. And once, you know, we talk about the energies in the sky right now, it is definitely not a casual energy. It definitely requires correction, purification, and spiritual seriousness. Okay. So yeah, this is what I thought. And also we have Purva Bhadrapada, Uttara Bhadrapada, and Revati Nakshatra transit of Sun.
Yeah.
And this is Purva Bhadrapada is awakening and transformation. Uttara Bhadrapada is stabilization of wisdom, and Revati is completion and safe passage. And then Sun moves into the Gandanta zone. So Purva Bhadrapada transit happens. Let me tell you the dates. Purva Bhadrapada is from, I think, 1 second. I have not noted it down. 1 sec. Okay, I'll just come back with the dates. Meanwhile, if you have to add anything, you can tell Ashwin.
Yeah, by the time you come back with the dates, I just wanted to kind of throw a little light on the 3 nakshatras. So initially, obviously, as we know that the sun still needs to pass through the 3 degrees 20 minute mark to cross Purva Bhadrapada and enter Uttara Bhadrapada. And Purva Bhadrapada is the deity is Ajay Ekapada, which who is the single-footed deity, one of the Rudras. So, which means that this is a good phase for us to throw a light on something and stand stubbornly and not move. But the flip side is that we tend to be a little too much stubborn and be fixated on the wrong thing. So be sure that we are fixated on the right thing and not the wrong thing. Saturn transiting Uttara Bhadrapada is it's ruled by Ahir Budhanya. The deity of Uttara Bhadrapada is Ahir Budhanya. And Ahir Budhanya is this monstrous sea serpent who lies under the beds of the cosmic ocean. And he never moves. He just kind of stays under the ocean bed for a very long time. And people think that he never moves. So that is the kind of situation where we'll find ourselves as if nothing is moving forward. But remember that the sea serpent, when it unleashes its power, its unpredictability is unimaginable. The power that it can unleash is greater than any power that we have already seen. So Sun's transit into Uttara Bhadrapada is throwing light on the exact time that we need to act, and also the power that we actually possess to perform that action. So be very, very open-minded and try to be very aware of your surroundings. Maybe for 15 days, as long as Sun is there in Uttara Bhadrapada. Like it's exactly like 12, 13 days, but 15 days is not really bad after all. And Revati is ruled by the deity Pushan, and Pushan is this god of the journey and protector of the journey of the people. And Pushan is considered to be this very wise person who is helping people to connect the dots, which means he is going to throw light on the passage that we are traveling on. So during the darker periods of travel, Pushan is going to be this map or this guiding protector who protects our journeys. And journey, in the sense, it's not limited only to our travel, but our own life in this material world is actually a journey. And for many people, this is a journey of self-discovery. So Pushan, Sun's transit into Revati is about trying to gain more prosperity without defeating anyone. Just focus on yourself, but not what other people have. And that is what we need to focus on as long as the Sun is in Revati. So to cut this into three pieces, like one is be fixated on the journey, and second is try to analyze your timing of action and realize your potential when Sun is in Uttara Bhadrapada. And the third one is basically capitalizing on whatever we have done over the past 15 to 20 days after Sun has entered Pisces. So this entire transit of Sun through these nakshatras is a good way to kind of start, grow and consolidate from a very personal level. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So Sun is going to be in Purva Bhadrapada on the 15th of March till the 20th of March, which is, as you said, Aja Ekapada, ruler is Jupiter. And this nakshatra represents spiritual awakening, intense transformation, destruction of illusion, and radical change. When Sun moves through Purva Bhadrapada, so this is when, leadership, governments and institutions may face sudden revelations and ideological changes globally. This may bring about political shifts, spiritual awakening, movements, and ideological clashes, exposure of hidden truths. And always remember that it's the fire that burns away illusion. Then moves into Uttara Bhadrapada. And that is, no, we'll be doing the 12 sign readings also in a bit. Somebody's asking. So 20th of March to 3rd April, it's going to be in the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra. Sun is going to be transiting, and the ruler is Saturn, and deity is Ahirna Buddhya, serpent of the deep ocean. So it is about the storm and deep ocean after storm. So stability, wisdom, karmic settlement. So that is why when Sun will be transiting Saturn's Nakshatra, there will be some wisdom that will prevail, and that will definitely calm the things down. And also, we must understand that Vikram Samvat also begins from the Uttara Bhadrapada Nakshatra itself. So it indicates maturity from leaders, karmic accountability, restructuring of institutions, deeper spiritual awareness. Then moves into Revati from the 3rd April to the 14th of April, and then is going to be in the Gandanta zone also. So this is ruled by Mercury, Pushan, protector of travelers. Revati is the last nakshatra, completion of karmic cycles, protection and guidance, compassion, healing, new beginning, So this is going to be much better. And also it is the phase when, humanitarian concerns, healings, global cooperation, all that is going to start. So this is definitely the time. First of all, from 15 to 20th is awakening, truth is revealed. And then Uttara Bhadrapada is going to stabilize the energy, wisdom will emerge. Then Revati is completion. So healing occurs before a new cycle begins. So it's a final purification before the birth, as if. Okay. So now we can start with the 12 sign readings. I think, Ashwin, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it's about time. People are waiting.
About time. People are waiting, I'm sure, because I was like, I had so much to say, so many, things that I was thinking of talking on. Okay, so we start with the Aries readings first. So I think it's visible, right? The whole chart is not able to fit into it.
You just need to scroll a little down.
Is this okay? Is this okay, or you want me to?
No, this is okay. Like,
Okay.
yeah, this
I
is
think
actually better. But this is better.
cutting out the Aries. I want the Aries to be visible as well. Anyhow,
Is it? Yeah, I think this is fine. Maybe you can minimize a little bit. No,
no, it is
just
not helping.
what happens if you click that? Yeah, this is fine. Minus button. This also is fine.
Okay. So for Aries, you can take over. Yeah.
So, for Aries, the sun is moving into the 12th house, and 12th house is the house of isolation, withdrawal, release, separation, sorrow, sleep, etc. 12th house is always associated with endings. So in many ways, especially with Saturn in the 12th house, I think Aries rising people have probably been associated with loss, be it material or people or loved ones. So I think this is a period where the sun is shedding light into your deepest psyche, where you need to process and release all the emotions and move forward. Like, this is the place where we need to withdraw and find some kind of a closure with whatever we have lost. And also, 12th house is all about quiet, like trying to kind of isolate ourselves and see what we need to do. There needs to be some kind of a self introspection. There needs to be some kind of emphasis on our inner self. There is, it is always important to have this self reflective moments in silence, like when we are alone. And therefore, it is important for us to spend some time alone. It is important for us to kind of spend some time sleeping. Course correcting our sleep patterns is one of those important things. Like, habits that we have very privately, and also some of the burdens that we have been thinking about releasing. I think it is time for us to release. Saturn's every passage is an opportunity for us to release the burdens and unburden ourselves. And Sun's transit through Pisces over the transiting Saturn is one of those places where we could just move a little too faster, and it's an opportunity if we use it. So basically, think that you are losing something that does not have any more role to play in your life. So I think that is how we need to understand this. Practically speaking, we see a lot of behind the scenes work with Sun in the 12th house, spiritual activities, any kind of very private spiritual routine that you want to kind of do without announcing it to the world, not even to the closest people, but you just want to do something, and that is something that you can do. And sometimes it might be a situation where you are dealing with institutions or government related matters that's been drawing on for a very long time. Hospitals, or expenses related to hospitals. Sun is also the significator of father. So with the sun placed in the 12th house, it is time for you to take care of your father and reconnect with your father. So that is very important. And more importantly, 12th house is sleep. Like, if you have been having very poor sleep, or if you have been having this very poor sleep patterns, like it's ideal to sleep at 9:30 and wake up at 5:30. But not many people do, us including myself. But still, Sun's transit for Aries rising in the 12th house is an opportunity, especially with Sun and Saturn conjunction. It is an opportunity for us to kind of realistically course correct our sleep patterns and try to kind of get an early morning, so that we have enough energy to kind of protect ourselves, and also better sleep pattern so that we can work more effectively during the day. But again, Aquarius is very active, at least for the first half of this window where Sun is going to be in Pisces. Aquarius is very active, with Mars and Rahu, and Venus is also there until the 25th or 26th of March, which is your 11th house. So there is going to be social circles that will play a major role. So any kind of networks that you are forming, you need to be very careful, because of Mars and Rahu conjunction in the 11th house. So you will be very truthful and you want to do the right thing, but it is not necessary that the other person or the social community is necessarily doing things with the same mindset. So they could be having some ulterior motives. So one of the biggest examples that I have for Mars and Rahu conjunction is doing things with half knowledge and trusting the intuition very blindly. Like a very good example is Abhimanyu in Mahabharata, where he goes into this chakra yuga even after knowing that he doesn't know how to come out of it. So he thinks that only he doesn't know how to come out of it, but the other Pandavas who were inside would knew how to come out of the chakra yuga, and they could possibly help Abhimanyu to make his way out. But unfortunately, there was another challenge that they had to face, and Abhimanyu had to die inside the Chakravyuga. So do not go into anything with half information. Do not let the illusions cloud your judgment. So be ambitious, be community oriented, but also be aware of what is going on around you. So friends, organizations, or any kind of collective projects that becomes important could also come with some kind of an ulterior motive. And I don't mean to say that it is the only thing, but we just need to be very aware of what is happening. We could be carried away by the situation, we could be motivated, but still there could be friction, there could be disagreements within the social circles that we're functioning. So we need to kind of handle, dynamic energy that are kind of being presented in front of us. Jupiter turning direct by, as we're speaking, Jupiter is getting ready to turn direct, and it is a very good shift in terms of communication, because third house is the house of communication, and wherever there has been
That is the
hesitation in
reason
terms,
actually the video summary was prolonged so much, because Jupiter went direct.
Jupiter went direct. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So Jupiter is just gone direct as we're speaking, and the communication, anything that's been under the radar that we have been thinking of communicating, but still we have not communicated, will come into forefront. Writing or other speaking projects that you have been postponing, I think everything will take shape and the ideas will slowly turn into actions with Jupiter turning direct in Gemini. So I think overall it is about being very clear about what you want emotionally and cut off all the emotional burdens. And Aries rising natives, you never want to stay at one place and you want to move forward. But before moving forward, you need to clear the darkness in front of you.
I agree. They are a little impulsive also, no?
Yeah.
They just jump into it and then they realize, oh, I shouldn't have. Anyways,
Clear chakra yuga.
focus on, yeah. Exactly. Well said. So what you have to do is basically, when Sun is there, focus on inner healing, spirituality, closure of past cycles, and also if at all you are in the foreign land, be careful about your expenditure part. And there can be foreign settlement if you are thinking of already. So it could be bringing about some expenditure on that also. And possible travels to foreign country can bring in some uneasiness also during this time. So it's good if you are well planned, and if you do any kind of travels, if you can just um, do it post Mercury direct after the 21st of March. And also it definitely will clear your, mindset, what path you are entering into. So it is good if you are more spiritually inclined and you're more into meditative zone. And also, it's good for your internal growth. So this is a time for inner healing. As you know, Saturn and Sun will be conjunct here, and then Mars will also be joining in. So that can bring about some impulsiveness in you. So be careful about all of that. But yes, it is definitely very positive in case you have avoid any kind of impulsive um, financial decisions. That's what I can say. Okay. Otherwise, it's definitely a very positive time. We do remember that whenever there is a transit, it gives both good and bad results. So Sun gives good results only in 3rd, 6th, 10th, and 11th Upchaya houses only. That is the Mercury and the Saturn signs in the natural zodiac only. Sun does well. So one has to be really receptive to the negative predictions also. Okay. Coming to the next one, that is Taurus.
Someone was asking if there is any chance for a lockdown. So I was just answering, but it's just my opinion. I don't know what you think.
No, you can say it if at all, you want to. You can just
yeah,
tell.
I wrote it there in the chat itself. So
You have
people
already
can
written, huh?
yeah,
Okay.
people can take note of it.
Okay.
But as far as Taurus rising is concerned, Sun is in the 11th house of gains, networks, desires. So Sun is throwing light on all your networks and desires. With Saturn going into the 11th house, I have Taurus rising. I'm a double Taurus with Moon and Taurus rising. So as soon as Saturn entered my 11th house, I quit my 14, 15-year-old investment banking career. And the social circle that's been part of my 14, 15 years were suddenly gone. Now I'm almost kind of out of touch with almost everyone except for a selected few. But Sun in Pisces in the 11th house is going to bring a little bit of change where we kind of reconnect with those social circles and try to kind of accomplish our desires. I am moving towards accomplishing my own desires. So I think most people who have Taurus rising will also be able to do the same thing. So this is a very active period from a social perspective. With be it friends or professional partners or collaborators or professional communities, organizations, all these will become very, very important for you, Taurus rising natives. And also Saturn is the lord of the 4th house. So I've mentioned this many times. Sorry, Sun as the lord of the 4th house. And Taurus is the only rising where both Sun and Saturn function in alignment, where Sun rules an angle and Saturn rules an angle and a trine. Apart from that, they are real enemies. So Taurus rising is one of those interesting rising signs where both these planets do well. So the conjunction of the 9th lord and the 4th lord means it is a Raja Yoga for Taurus rising natives. And Venus is also part of this conjunction, which is another Raja Yoga, which brings the Lord of the 1st house. So for Taurus rising natives, this is a very good period. The 10th house of profession and public stature, where Mars is placed, Lord of the 7th house in the 10th house. Your spouse is probably pushing you towards something that is connected to profession. But on the other hand, Rahu is placed in the 10th house. So, and that is a very good catalyst for you to push forward with Saturn, the 10th lord in the 11th house, Rahu and Mars in the 10th house. Mars gains directional strength in the 10th house, and Mercury is retrograde. Maybe there is a little bit of a wishy-washy, draggy period because of Mercury retrograde. But as soon as Mercury turns direct, I think it's going to be really wonderful for Taurus rising natives for the most part. There is every chance that your desire might come true, and you will accomplish your long-term desires or goals. So opportunities will come through friends, social circles, or people who are connected to you in some way, and you can look forward to some kind of a help at any level. So Rahu and Mars will most certainly bring attention to your career. Naturally, you will be very, very ambitious as long as Rahu is placed in the 10th house by transits, but Mars can also indicate that some people are jealous, or some people are not very happy about your growth or inclined position at workplace. I think you don't need to confront that. You just need to ignore it and move forward, because Venus in the 11th house, in its exaltation, with Sun, the 9th and the 10th lord in the 11th house, conjunct the angular ruler Sun in the 4th house, is going to put you in the limelight as far as any professional related matters are concerned. And Jupiter turning direct, 8th lord turning direct in the 2nd house, is going to uh, straighten some of the financial constraints and resources that you've been grappling with for over a period of time. Could be 3 or 4 months for the entire Jupiter's retrogression. So some of the decisions that you thought were very uncertain for you in terms of financial decisions, I think those decisions will start moving forward at this point. So it's all about trying to maintain your resources in the best optimal manner possible. So for Taurus rising natives, it is the future that you build right now for the rest of the year, and make use of this uplifting time to the best of your abilities, is what I would say.
Okay, great. So I just have to add 2 cents in this, that this is definitely the time when your 11th house is getting activated. So whatever you want to do, you must use this time well, because you can be good at networking. You can maybe have some new alliances, connecting with the authorities or some government officials. It is going to be giving you support from friends also, and Venus is also exalted there. Mars will also be entering, so Venus can give you financial opportunities also, and social recognition also. Be realistic about your goals. Don't expect too much about things, and like, don't expect too much from your friends also, the circle that you move around in. And in the 11th house, Sun does really well, so you will have inclination towards growth in your professional career, overall progress in the spheres, maybe in your personal relationships also, you will feel better. Do remember, Venus, your Lagnesh is exalted till the 26th and then moves into your 12th house. So cut down on your expenditures from now itself. And also Ketu in the 4th house will always be giving you some kind of health issues to the mother or to yourself. So just be careful about that. And don't backbite. That's what, I always say. If you really want your Jupiter to be Shuddha and do well, don't backbite. Okay, so this is what, and of course, the nakshatra transits will be in Jupiter's nakshatra, then Saturn's nakshatra, and Mercury's nakshatra. So Sun is from the 20th through the 3rd April going to be giving you very good results. If once it leaves the Jupiter's nakshatra till the 20th March, just be careful about your health, about your financial investments also. But 20th March to the 3rd April, very good time in case you want to park your funds, or if you want to make some important decisions, good time. 3rd April to 14th of April also not bad. You can maybe, go in for your PR visa, foreign travels, etc. If you want to plan anything for your growth or your government related job, you want to take up an exam or something, so it will be a success. Coming to the next one, that is Gemini. Over to you, Ashwin. And this is not a Malmas. I wanted to tell, somebody was asking whether this is a Malmas or something. It is not a Malmas. During this year, I don't think so. We have an inauspicious Mars. That is the month.
Yeah. And there is one more question that's related to, can India see this is only for a short period, or these disruptions will be seen often? See, I think with as long as the planets are in this nodal axis, we will always see some kind of a challenge that is constantly going on. If you remember, before, when Mars was in Leo, we had a similar war-related situation where US bombed Iran for a short while, and then they went. And now Mars is in Aquarius, exactly on the opposite end, and again now it's a full-fledged war. But once the planets move away from the nodal axis, and Jupiter enters Cancer by June, I think things will be reasonably better. But I think as far as the overall picture is concerned, it's a little bleak because Saturn will be all set to enter Aries next year, and when Mars squares or conjuncts or opposes Saturn, it's going to be war. So we are not going to be out of this until 2032 or 2034, 35 zone. It's going to be a little bit of a shaky
As
period.
it is, Saturn will be going into the Taurus sign also, where Rohini Nakshatra is there in the
Rohini
March.
is there.
Rohini is that, yeah.
So we
No,
are
one
looking
more
at a.
thing, Ashwin, I wanted to add when somebody is asking about the layoffs. The layoffs are happening because from the 10th house, if you see of the natural zodiac, Ketu is transiting the Leo sign.
Yeah.
So that is also causing these layoffs. And of course, Saturn in the Pisces sign, any which ways is a closure, it's is a time for the endings. And it's forming a 6-8 relationship with Ketu also. Till the time Ketu leaves the zone and goes into the Cancer sign, I think the layoffs are going to off and on happen. This is my logic. I don't know,
No,
how
it's
you.
perfect, but we just need a trigger point because
Right.
it doesn't mean that every time there will be a layoff when Ketu is there. It happens from time to time, and the trigger point I think is Sun's connection with all these planets.
Right.
So yeah, it's very unfortunate, but I think it
What
is
to.
part of the evolutionary process, and I think we need to accept it. People need to just find their own ways. But coming to Gemini rising, where Sun ruling the third house is placed in the 10th house of career, visibility, and public stature. So this is a very, very important period as far as Gemini rising natives profession is concerned, because for a very long time, especially with Saturn in the 10th house and with Saturn retrograde in the 10th house, not now, but at least until the end of November, Saturn was retrograde in Pisces. So it was a very frustrating period for Pisces, Gemini rising natives, with Saturn in Pisces, especially starting from June 2025 when Saturn turned retrograde. So for almost 5 to 6 months, they faced uncertainty and challenges in professional setup. But now with Saturn direct and with Venus entering the 10th house, and now Sun is also entering the 10th house. Sun as a third ruler indicates that there is enough ability and strength where we can put forth our responsibility and ideas to the management or the workplace, whatever it is. And Venus, the lord of the fifth house, is placed in the 10th house. Fifth house is rank and recognition. And if it is placed in the 10th house, it is going to be rank and recognition in the field of your career. So that is a good thing. So if you're due for promotion, as long as Venus and Sun are placed in the 10th house, I think you will get it. That is a good thing to look forward to. But either way, I think professional responsibilities will increase. With authority comes responsibilities. So professional responsibilities will increase. Saturn is already placed in the 10th house, which is restructuring your career path. And for many Gemini rising natives, as I mentioned, there's been a challenge in your professional direction. There's been uncertainty, and Sun's entry is going to kind of settle all those uncertainties, and it is going to throw some light. There is going to be some visibility. You're going to see your path very clearly. And leadership roles is prominent. Your own communication and exchanges with the authoritative figures in the company could come to the forefront. But on the other hand, there is also this risk of saying too much. Be careful about what you say, and do not say words that you cannot take back. So be very careful and do not show your authoritative position to people at the lower level, because with Saturn and Sun conjunction, you will immediately get penalized for that. So, I mean, with Saturn, there is no waiting game. With Sun and Saturn, there is no waiting game. It is immediate. The results are immediate. And make no mistake, Mars will also join this conjunction very soon, by the 1st or 2nd of April. So overall, 9th house is very active, which indicates travel, philosophy, religion, and spirituality. So especially with Mars and Rahu, there could be a situation where you could kind of think, why should I even pray to God, or why should I even follow religion, or why should you even do spirituality? Or the other flip side is that with Rahu, too much of obsession towards all these things, philosophy, religion, spirituality. And there is also chances for you to kind of give up your religion and think about, or not think, but read other philosophical or religious texts. So that is there. With Mars and Rahu in the ninth house, there could be unpredictability as far as your travel situation is concerned. In fact, it is better not to travel right now. So be sure that if you can postpone or delay your travel, I think that is a very good decision. Jupiter is turning direct in the first house, so which brings the kind of confidence that you have not had so far. So far, maybe you are just overconfident and it was not really a matter of confidence, or there's been some uncertainty with Jupiter in the first house. 10th Lord in the first house is also has already turned direct, probably. But that is another indication as to why your self and also your public self is going to get into a better zone. So overall, I think this is a reasonably optimistic period for Gemini rising natives, and their reputation, authority, and purpose is all kind of culminating and coming together. And there is a little bit of a light towards the end of the tunnel, and they're now seeing it.
Actually, Geminis were really disgusted by my reading on the Jupiter's transit. So now they'll feel, I'm sure they'll feel better now. See, Sun's ingress in the 10th house is definitely, it is going to give you a boost in your career. Sun does well in 3, 6, 10, 11 houses. So professional visibility will be there, leadership opportunities will be there, and also, public recognition. And you need to really work hard because Saturn is there as well. So maintain that discipline, maintain your hardworking nature, and I'm sure you're good to go. And also authority, leadership matter, they will definitely give you some relief. And as per the classic text, it said that, you visit a spiritual place and, some religious places you visit, and you earn through your capacity, and this will also give you that donating charitable nature also. And also new jewels, money, dress, etc. you buy for yourself and your family, and you get support from VIPs in the government, and you will be happy, and you will get help from your friends and relatives, recovery from your disease, and also, it will give you spiritual aspect also. So this is intellectually a good time, and you will be successful in your education and studies also, in case you're waiting for some exam. Good for overall growth. And this is definitely going to be a very positive time period for you guys. Coming to the next one, that is Cancer.
Cancer. Activation of the ninth house for Cancer rising natives. Cancer is the lord of the Sun is the lord of the second house, and Sun is placed in the ninth house. So, which again promotes matters such as higher learning, philosophy, religion, and ninth house is also journeys, like I said. So, Sun is going to throw light on some of the questions that's been there in your mind for a very long time, if it was philosophical or spiritual. So I think you will try to kind of find meaning, and your belief system is going to be refined, and your direction in life is going to be much better, especially with second lord. Second lord is the indicator of aptitude and grasp. It's the lord of possessions. And when it is placed in the ninth house, you will possess and grasp the spiritual and philosophical concepts very easily. So my advice is try to kind of read some good texts, a few pages, like 1 or 2 pages on a daily basis, is really good for Cancer rising natives. It has to be a philosophical text. There is no doubt about it. But I think reading can be a very good way of dealing with things. There are some people who are doing some very good philosophical discourses on YouTube. So that also will help you, getting in touch with Bhagavad Gita or any philosophical text of your choice will be very good, and it will give you a good direction in your mind. So and Saturn is already there, and there is a good possibility that you have already been thinking about the worldview, spirituality, and philosophy for the better part of the past 1.5 months, for 1.5 years or so. And this Sun's culmination or entry into the ninth house is just going to kind of throw light on some of the most important things that will help you take forward in your spiritual or religious studies. And ninth house is also the house of father. Sun is also the natural significator of father, and second house is also the house of family. So prominence related to father and reconnecting or connections with your family and matters related to family that needs course correction or something like that will also play a very, very important role. So one of the good things is also to kind of be in touch with mentors and uh, what is this word? I'm losing that word. Mentors or leadership figures or elders in your family or even out of your family,
Motivational
which
speakers.
motivational speakers and all these things will work out
Mm.
for you. Try to kind of get all this. Motivational speakers is a very good point. I think that will help you.
Mm.
But overall, I think Aquarius 8th house matters. Debts is a very big thing when we talk about long-term debts. Debts or loans belong to the 6th house, but long-term debts that are pestering your mind and probably disturbing your sleep falls in the 8th house. So finances, other people's finances, and dealing with psychological transformations or challenges, emotional stirring or problems that you have been carrying as a burden will also kind of come to the forefront, especially because of Mars Rahu conjunction. It's slightly challenging on that front. um, I think it is important for you to kind of give up impulsiveness and focus on responding rather than reaction, because anything that you do by reacting at this point will bring you a lot of challenges. Do not go and take a loan based on an impulse. No financial entanglements or new commitments is encouraged during this period. And part of the
Absolutely.
reason is because Jupiter is turning direct in your 12th house, which kind of reactivates all these themes that are related to sorrow, losses, or expenses. So it's important for you to kind of ignore all those entanglements and focus on, especially with Jupiter in the 12th house, focus on getting a sleep pattern ready. Therapy is really important. Focus on meditation and read philosophical texts. As I said, 12th house, read in isolation. You don't need to say this to anyone, but just talk about and have some self-talk after reading, contemplate, and have this comprehension that could potentially help you not just in this 1 month but for a very long time. So overall, I think this is a period where you need to rising days, and do not expect too much out of this period because the 8th house is active, but try to do the inner work and expand your inner horizons rather than the outer horizons.
Well said. Yes, absolutely. It is the ninth house after all. So look at the bigger picture now. If you have to travel, see, we say traveling, you learn more actually. Through travels, you learn more. So that is why we always say, that you must learn more during this time, meet more people. And it is, see, when Sun, being the ruler of the second house, is in the 8 places away, it is for everyone. So the theme will be the 8th house from second house. So maybe, if you just be wise enough to make investments, etc., during this time, very cautiously, you will really do well. Also, this is 12th from your 10th house. So this is like some unexpected events related to your karma. How you will be, experiencing depends on your personal chart. See, it could be that you at impediments at your place of work, you're putting the effort but you're not being paid off. Your bosses and seniors, they don't acknowledge, you're just going on working and working and working. Okay, you're doing a lot of work but you're not facing that, or you're not experiencing that kind of stature that you deserve. Okay, so this could bring about that kind of energy also, because it is loss of your 10th house. So when it is the loss of 10th house, it means that it is going to be giving you that kind of lack of fame. It is not that you'll lose a job or something for sure, but it is definitely till the time Mars is also going to be here in the Pisces sign, you have to be little extra cautious about your job, about your professional career. Don't be impulsive, okay? There can be some kind of luster of the body that is lost. That is as per the classic text. So it means that you have to take care of your health also, okay? Your relatives and friends might not be that supportive of you. So you need to be working in isolation more or behind the scenes more. Be more spiritually grounded. Heal yourself. This is that kind of a time. It is fifth from your fifth, acquire knowledge. Okay. So that is why, you know, I always say that every planet transit gives good as well as not so good results related to the karak tattvas of the other houses, significations. So from the fifth house, it is the fifth house, good for your children, good for student natives, success is there. It is fourth from the sixth house. So maybe, you know, you should avoid getting into any kind of litigation related to your property matters. It is third from your seventh house. So it is good for your partners, communication, travels, PR, visa, etc. So you will get through that. It is second from the eighth house. It is the marka from there. So it is definitely positive for your ailments that you have, the chronic pains or the chronic disease that you're going through. It is good for that. It is a death for that. Okay. So you have to see it in this light. Anyhow, you have a transit. As you know, this sun's transit is not that great in the rest of the 8 houses. It is only good in the 3, 6, 10, 11 houses. So this might just give you some kind of energy. Maybe your father, your status, you know, you have to work on these relationships. So take the help and advice of the right kind of people. I'm sure you're good to go. Coming to the next one, that is Leo. Ashwini. Yeah.
Leo, Lord of the rising sign in the 8th house. So
Eighth
straight
house.
away we are talking about, you know, again, clearing off long-term debts and also emotional transformations that kind of burden or unburden your process. So 8th house is all about challenges or hidden challenges, obstructions, hindrances, and also sometimes shame. So especially with a lot of the first house in the 8th house, there could be potential embarrassments that we could face during this period. So I think it is important to hold on to your experiences and not judge those experiences by yourself. So it's all about kind of being honest and also being ready to face the vulnerability and trust yourself and get ready to face the vulnerabilities if it brings out. So confronting the psychological challenges will be one of those important things, because we see that Mars is now aspecting the first house. As much as Mars is the yoga karaka, Mars's aspect to the first house is a confrontational aspect. So it is almost like you are confronting yourself and you are kind of, pushing yourself beyond the horizons. Or maybe fourth house, family is confronting you, or maybe ninth house, elders or father or fatherly figures are confronting you and calling you out on some of the mistakes that you have done. So all these things will only shape you to get better, and it increases your clarity. So keep your emotional boundaries, and also do not let any situation to disrupt your emotional foundations because of this 1 month. And it is not necessarily a bad month, but it is a month where you are exposed to some vulnerability. And seventh house, as much as Rahu and Mars, if you are married or if you are into a relationship, I think there is naturally some kind of a challenge that is going on in relationships for Leo rising natives, and it could well be the same at least for another 15 days or so. So on the one hand, there is a lot of passion in relationship because of Mars, and on the other hand, that passion could possibly be true or not. It could be dependent or codependent relationships that could quickly diffuse. So you need to be very careful about all these things, especially people who are very impatient and naturally conflicting in nature when they get into relationships. But Venus in the 8th house, in its exaltation, could bring some kind of a support or clarity for all the unpredictability that is added by Rahu and Mars in the seventh house. So Jupiter turning direct in your 11th house, it indicates your friendships, social circles, and long-term desires coming to fruition or accomplishments. So despite all those challenges, I think there is something that you can cheer about. What has been delayed for a very long time in terms of the 11th house matters, I think those things will come forward to fruition, and it could be a little bit of a smooth sailing in the 11th house matters whenever it is related to friendship gains and social circles. So overall, I think there are some profound layers of different experiences for Leo rising natives, and usually Leo rising natives are very outgoing and dominating, but this is the time where you need to be focusing or channeling your energy inwards rather than outwards.
Okay. See, eighth house transit generally is about when Sun enters there, it is a very dark zone. Sun will bring in something which is hidden, some scandal or something which is going to be coming into the limelight. It is said it is the house where, you can experience some kind of headaches or eye related problems. And also, it can bring about conflicts and hurdles, and maybe in relationship you can have some issues with your partner. Lagnesh is after all in the eighth house. It definitely is little tough, but at the same time, you need to understand that somewhere or the other it is going to bring something in the forefront which you were not able to see. So this is definitely going to, when Sun is going to be in the forefront, it is going to bring something in the forefront. It is definitely going to be positive for you. You will get that clarity. You were in that, in the dark room, and you're looking for that needle in that hay, as if, now you will be able to find it. Okay, this is what my path has to be. So it is definitely very positive. It is said that you have to take care of your relatives during this time. Somebody in the family can have some health issues. You can have some quarrels, some fights, and also cough like diseases also. So make sure that you are taking care of your body and your health, and don't move around in the sun. You can get sunstroke, heat stroke, etc. So just be careful, and I think you are good to go. And in case you are already in some litigation or something, you will get that power back. So this is like, inching towards the 9th and then 10th and then the 11th. So it is definitely getting on the improving side after this. So this is a foundational period. You will get that clarity now. That's what I can say. Okay. So coming to the next one, that is Virgo. All right.
Virgo. So, I'm okay. I thought I was on mute. Okay. Virgo rising. A lot of the 12th house in the 7th house, which primarily indicates uncertainty in relationships again. So, but the good news is that Sun, as the Lord of the 12th house, sitting in the 7th house, is going to throw lights on whatever the uncertainty is going to, uncertainty that we have been facing in the relationships. So, how we kind of perceive this and work our way through challenges with Sun in the 7th house is going to be the key. So, with Saturn already in Pisces, I think relationships probably have been undergoing a period of testing or restructuring, sometimes even endings, because with Saturn, it is always about cutting things off that we don't need anymore in our life. But again, some people have been probably making commitments, and some people have been having challenges in creating or defining boundaries in their relationships. So all this will come to the limelight for those people who has been having challenges in whether or not to continue in a relationship. You will be able to make a decision now. Whether or not you're doing well in the relationship, what is the problem in the relationship, you will be able to understand now. And if you want to end the relationship, you will also understand when and why and how you need to end the relationship. More importantly, realism within relationships, creating boundaries in relationships, because at the end of the day, everyone needs their private space, and that is what Sun is a lot of the 12th house. It is a lot of isolation in the 7th house, which means we need to kind of isolate and spend some time by ourselves, but still be connected to the relationship. So it's just that we need to reduce our time as to how much we are spending in the relationship. But on the other hand, seventh house is also collaboration. It is about contracts or negotiations in terms of partnership deals and all those things. So projects related to those will come into limelight, and it will become very prominent. And conversations with your potential partners could begin during this period, and all those things are really good to look forward to. And on the other hand, sixth house is very strong to Upajaya planets, to Upajaya, sorry, in two planets in Upajaya houses, that is Mars and Rahu, although Mercury is also there. But Mars and Rahu specifically do well in the sixth house, which means that despite all these challenges that you have been facing with Saturn in the seventh house, Rahu and Mars in the sixth house is enabling you to tackle or deal with all those hindrances and obstacles by being in the sixth house. Sixth house is the houses of obstacles. And also sixth house is the house of litigation. So if you've been going through some kind of a litigation, and now is the time where you will actually find some proof that could potentially help you, because Sun is placed in the seventh house. Seventh house throws light on the others. So that is a natural way of understanding what the seventh house could do. And sixth house is also about routines, work, and in general health. It's the time to kind of reconnect with work routines, follow a calendar and scheduled pattern of working. And Venus in the seventh house at this point, along with Sun and Saturn, is going to play a little bit of a small role in helping you find this better relationships with co-workers or collaborators or partners in any given project. So that is also very good. But sometimes things won't go as we expected. Obvious reasons, Mars and Rahu in the sixth house, as much as they help us with defeating our hidden enemies, there is also a little bit of sense of unpredictability in our daily life, because sixth house is about daily routines, and there could be some kind of a challenge in that front as well. And if someone who is going through health challenges and diseases, wait until Mercury turns direct. Because Mercury is retrograde, you are not able to find what is going on. But once Mercury turns direct, I think you will be able to find out what is going on, and there will be some kind of a diagnosis. So overall, I think with Jupiter turning direct, the professional obligations that's been pestering or torturing you in your mind, all those challenges will move away, and Jupiter's direct motion will slowly start supporting who you are, and your relationships that's been a little draggy might find a little bit of a safer zone at this point, with the seventh lord, fourth and the seventh lord in the 10th house. With the fourth lord in the 10th house, it is also a good time to reconnect with your mother if you have been staying far away from your mother. So I think overall it's a period where we need to kind of learn to draw lines and separate commitment from obligation, so that we will be having enough time for ourselves and also time for other people in our lives.
Okay. Great. So this is a good transit for a couple of reasons, but not that great a transit for many. See, first of all, it is the seventh house, so good for your authority in your business relationship. You will gain that momentum now. But do remember, status quo you have to maintain. Don't go in for overly expenditure on your business. Okay, let me invest, let me do this, let me make more money. So don't be greedy right now, because Sun here will give you that ego clash with your partner in relationship also. So if you are thinking of, starting something or pumping in more money into your business, so this is not the right time. Just take it easy, because it is the house of descendant for Sun. Sun rises in the first house, and it is losing completely, the strength. Saturn is Digbali though. So what happens if you are connecting with the masses right now? As a politician or as a government official. So this is definitely a very positive time. It can result in unnecessary expenditures during this time, aimless travels, humiliation, and all that. So you must take things easy right now. And any kind of negative thinking, you should just try to escape. You should try to run away from that. And also negative people who generally, people who bring you down, who just pull you down. Just stay away from that. Okay. And also, you might just be traveling aimlessly. If you are traveling, you're expecting some good results. So just make sure that you are traveling for a particular reason and not just for, just gathering information. Okay. This is not the time. Just avoid. Yes, if it is your routine that you're traveling, etc. So this is something which is going to be obviously not making any much changes. Take care of your digestive system. Eat right in case you have been having any kind of issues related to skin, related to stomach, related to your eyesight, etc., or itching. So this might just aggravate that. So just avoid any kind of heaty products, heaty foods, and skin related troubles, because Mercury is also your Lagnesh, which is retrograde. So just make sure that you are having everything cleared up, and not doing things which, because in the 6th house you have a Mercury, Rahu, and Mars also. So take care of your legal battles, and also just don't get into any kind of legal matters. Any kind of legal issues can erupt, and it can just be going beyond your control. Also, you have to take care when you are thinking of purchasing any property. So just make sure that you are taking in account all the legal matters and reading the papers really well. It's a very good time for the student natives, if you're thinking of taking any exam or something government related. So this is going to bring success to you. And I think we are good to go. And I will be leaving in between, I think, after 10 minutes or so, Ashwin. Okay.
No problem.
So you have to take
No worries.
charge as always. So
No
we are
worries.
coming to Libra now. Yeah.
For Libra, Sun is moving into the 6th house. Upajaya, Sun into the 6th house is fine. And another thing is for Libra rising, 11th ruler is Badaka in the 6th house. So there could be challenges in work, daily routines, responsibilities, and also kind of diagnosis of some kind of a health condition or something. So 6th house is where every practical challenges are found, and Sun is going to throw light onto some of the practical challenges and deals it deals with the daily activities or routines of our life. And Saturn is already in Pisces, and the Sun-Saturn conjunction in the 6th house is going to only get better in terms of facing all these challenges. Like, there will be discipline, there needs to be consistency, and there needs to be habits that could potentially be sustainable. It is not that we just kind of do things on a random basis and we escape. With Sun and Saturn conjunction in the 6th house, there is no escape from our daily matters. We just need to kind of do in a disciplined way as to what we need to do. So that's as simple as that. And on the other hand, Jupiter is turning direct in the 9th house, so which indicates that reconnecting with the matters related to the 9th house, that is philosophy, religion, spirituality, father or fatherly figure, going back to the Gemini is reading, go back to the 9th house matters and ensure that you have that kind of philosophical backing to deal with the monotonous scrutiny and weight of your daily matters. So that is really important, and you need to take care of that. And Sun ruling the 11th house in the 6th house. 11th house is also about gains. As much as Sun plays the role of Badaka or obstructor, the Sun is also the ruler of the 11th house, which takes care of your gains and desires. And with Sun going into the 6th house, it again creates a problem with the there is no accomplishment of desires. Whatever you desire or whatever you want to do or whatever you want to accomplish during this period will not come into fruition. So it is better to kind of lie low and deal with things behind the scenes, especially given that Mercury is still retrograde. I think it is better to kind of just keep a low profile and do whatever needs to be done at the background and not necessarily in the foreground. So yeah, I think dealing with the 5th house matters, especially with Rahu and Mars. There is a lot of creativity romantic ideas or more focus on children. And sometimes we would be dealing with health issues for children and challenges that the children are facing. But given that Jupiter is turning direct and aspecting Aquarius, so there is a little bit of a saving grace there. And Mercury's direct motion will also kind of indicate some kind of a release from all these problems that are related to the fifth house. So there is a little bit of restlessness from a creative projects perspective, especially for Libra ratings, because of the fifth house prominence with two malefics. And the fifth lord is also in the sixth house, not necessarily a good placement. So the interactions that you have been finding awkward or challenging will continue to remain awkward and challenging, and you need to just keep a low profile on that front also, with Mercury still retrograde. So overall, I think balancing your discipline, which is the sixth house matters, and also not having too many expectations is the key for your stable sun's transit through the sixth house.
Okay, great. Sun's transit to the sixth house is very good. Yogkara Graha is also there. Venus, your Lagnesh, is also there. Venus, though exalted, doesn't do well in the sixth house, but still it is exalted, whatever said and done. So this is definitely very positive time for you guys, in case you have any kind of recovery that you're waiting for, recovery of funds, recovery of health, recovery from any kind of loans, or anything to do with your money matters or family. If you are having any kind of issues that you have been dealing with, this is definitely a very positive time. And also government related job, anything to do with promotion in job. So this definitely will give you that positive news. And also any kind of worries that are bothering you, now you will be able to come out of it also. You get that respect from your authorities and your relatives and your friends, and the confidence comes back to you. You will maybe you're looking for a job in a big firm. Suddenly you will see that has come your way. So it is the time when you will be able to get the results of your past endeavors or the efforts that you have put in. So I think you're entering a very beautiful phase. Being the ruler of the 11th house in the 6th house is definitely very positive with the Yoga Kara Graha. It is gaining that strength also. Saturn is, as it is, very, very powerful for you. So any kind of decisions related to matters related to your home, your studies, your education, your financial decision making, your job change, your promotion, your childbirth, anything that you think of, you touch as if it is going to turn into gold. So this is that kind of a transit, because in the 6th house, Sun does really well, and it is with the Yoga Graha. So all the best and love you all. Coming to the next one, that is
Scorpio.
Scorpio. Yeah.
So for Scorpio rising, the 10th ruler, Sun, is moving into the 5th house, and 5th house is associated with creativity, creative self-expression, children, etc. And this can be one of the most better periods for Scorpio rising natives, especially that Sun is placed in the 5th house of creativity. Sun is going to enlighten your creative projects, and Sun is going to enlighten or illuminate the 5th house matters. The Sun is going to bring happiness to children, especially after a lot of sobriety with Saturn in the 5th house. I think Sun's entry and Venus's exaltation in the 5th house is a little bit of a joy. So, and people who have been expecting promotions or some kind of an upliftment at workplace, 5th house is the house of rank and recognition, but also the house of power. So it is very likely that you will be seen as a potential successor or a candidate to be promoted. So, and if it is due now, I think there is every chance that you will get it, but that depends on your natal chart as well. So overall, for Scorpio rising natives, Sun in the 10th, Sun as the 10th ruler in the 5th house is a really good placement. With Saturn already in Pisces, I think romantic relationships will get very serious at this point, especially with Venus, the 7th lord, in the 5th house as well. So it is going to be really serious with Saturn. What was once casual is now going to kind of take a very different direction, and it's going to get very serious for Scorpio rising natives. So that is another good thing. As far as opportunities for creative self-expressions, I think you're going to get many opportunities to project yourself, be it your projects or be it your presentations, whatever it is. You will get an opportunity to do all those things at workplace. Your interactions will become much better. It will be very, very illuminating, and it will be to the point. So, but the good thing is that you need to present your authenticity in a very responsible manner because of Sun-Saturn conjunction in the same house. So you should not forget your authenticity. You need not be someone else. It is important that you remind yourself. But still, there's a little bit of a struggle in the fourth house matters. Your domestic environment is challenged. Your emotional foundations are challenged. There is a lot of tension. But the good news is that none of these tensions in the domestic environment is going to affect your professional environment, because the fifth house is very strong, and there is no need to worry about anything. And the family dynamics will also kind of uh, improve and get better once Mars moves outside and once Mercury turns direct. So everything is in the moving or setting the motion forward kind of a phase. And Jupiter turning direct in the eighth house, it is about finances, other people's money, investments, long-term investments, and emotional processes that you have been going through, the burdens. So all this will begin moving forward. There will be a way to deal with all these challenges with Jupiter moving forward. And Jupiter's aspect to the second house and fourth house is also going to be very, very beneficial and crucial, which could help you enjoy the creative joys that you get from the fifth house, which won't be eradicated or set aside by the seventh house matters. Not seventh house matters, but the fourth house matters. Moving on, I think Vanita ji has left. But moving on, we have Sagittarius rising.
I'm still here.
Are you
I'm still
there?
here.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Do you want to
Yeah.
continue a little bit for?
Can you hear me? My actually mic just fell off, so I was just
No, it's
adjusting.
fine. It's totally fine.
Okay. Yeah. So no, till the time I don't leave, I will be here. Otherwise, I
Okay.
will let you know. So what is happening exactly here is the fifth house energy. Fifth house is about your love relationship, creativity. It is also about children, so your children might require your attention, or maybe your personal relationships may become very sour. Why? Because sun burns everything wherever he sits. So what is happening? The lord of the 10th is in your 8 places away from there. So what is happening? Your relationship questioned, your chemistry and bonding might require some overhauling, I would say. So in case you're already having any kind of issues, ego clashes or something, so this definitely requires some kind of time to it. You need to invest some time. You need to have that understanding now, because this is going to give you some kind of issue in relationship for sure. So don't have any kind of ego clash. Just try to work on it in a very positive manner. Financial speculation, you have to be really careful about that also. Relationship with children, relationship with partners, it can take a sudden U-turn. So you need to work on these areas. Otherwise, it is good for your mental intellect, because this is the house of intellect. You'll be very sharp at certain things that you could not understand. Now you'll be able to. It is like illuminating those that intellect of yours. So it is definitely very positive for certain things, good for education, good for your own self growth. But at the same time, the interpersonal relationship you need to work on, and your speculative income or your investments, you have to be really careful about. Coming to the next one, that is, let me just clear this off. One sec. Coming to the next one, that is Sagittarius.
Sagittarius. For Sagittarius rising, the Lord of Trine, ninth house, Yoga Karaka, is placed in the fourth house. And Trine Lords and angles is very strong in general. And Pisces, being the fourth house is your emotional foundation. It's your mother, it's your private life, it's your dwelling place, it's your house, it is your home. And I have always said many times on this channel that whenever your fourth house is active, I think your fourth house has been active for a very long time now with Saturn's placement, but still Sun is a trigger point. So which means that you need to make some domestic changes in your environment. So if you're working somewhere like this, make some changes here and there, like move around a table and shift something which will potentially alter your psychological apparatus and make you feel better. Bring in some kind of a plant inside your house. It's going to help, especially with Venus exalted. Bringing in a plant could help, or bringing in an artwork and hanging it somewhere, some kind of a motivational quote, anything that kind of lightens your mood is really important. So in a way, it helps you secure your inner world. So it is all about internal when Sun is in the fourth house. Nothing is really external. So I think you need to deal with all those things. And on the other hand, with Saturn, I think fourth house dealing with responsibilities with our domestic environment has been there for the past year, and now it is culminating where we are caring for our family members, managing immovable properties. Fourth house is also properties. So any property matters that's been there with no progress, I think now is the time it might take progress, because Yoga Karaka, ninth ruler, is placed in the fourth house of and Saturn, the second ruler of possession or grasp, is also in conjunction with the Sun. So that is really, really important at this point for those people who want to hold on to some of the properties or something that belongs to you from the past. So that is a good thing. So any decisions related to property and all those things related to living arrangements, domestic setup, or your private room or anything, all these things can be done now. Renovation and also relocation. If you've been meaning to relocate to some other place, I think now is a good time to do that. Overall, third house is really important as well, with two malefic planets in the third house. Upachaya, third house of potential, the third house of courage, third house of initiatives, third house of communication. All this is going to go well with Rahu and Mars. Already Rahu's there, but Mars's entry into the third house is just this, catalyst that kind of drives things forward with much more pace. It's just that be sure that you're not clouded. I mean, your judgment should be completely justified from a rationalistic and an emotional perspective, and you should not suffer at a later point. But one challenge is that there will be some kind of a difficult interactions with siblings. Third house is the house of siblings, and sometimes any kind of closer relationships that we acquire from workplace, or be it any other outside environment, there will be a little bit of challenges or friction in those relationships. But I think all those will slowly kind of move forward, and it is a passing cloud with Mars in the third house. So for now, make sure that you don't do anything rash on social media. Whatever you post is going to be seen with a bad eye because of Mars and Rahu in the third house. So Jupiter's activation of direct motion in the seventh house is also really good, bringing the partnerships and relationships into the picture, and you are putting yourself outside to kind of deal with all these matters, because Sagittarius, rising sign, Jupiter as the ruler, which indicates self, and in the seventh house, it indicates others. So we are putting ourselves in the seventh house and dealing with things by our own means, and we are putting our own energy, our own emotional setup, our own knowledge, our own communication, and dealing with the seventh house matters, be it relationships or communication or collaboration. So all this is going to be a little bit of an emerging situation, not a culmination situation. We are all kind of getting ready for Jupiter to enter Cancer. So overall, I think it's a very stable period. I would like to call for Sagittarius. It is very, very stable and slightly moving ahead in terms of our progress through the year.
Okay. Great. Great to know. See, fourth house transit is a bit of see, it is just right opposite where Sun loses Digbal. So I'm not being very pessimistic, but yeah, it does give some challenge on the home front. Can give your mother some health issue. But at the same time, it is going to illuminate your mental setup. Okay, I want to, you will start looking at the picture in a very different light. See what happens, you're on the verge of purchasing a property, suppose, and you get to know that this particular, maybe a vehicle or a property, you get to know that there is some dispute or there is something which is wrong with the paperwork, or there's some dispute, or there is something which is missing, which you could not see. When sun enters here, you will get to know or get the diagnosis done based on the related to these areas. You've already purchased a vehicle, that's a different story. You purchased it when sun was, maybe sun did not transit here. So when sun transits here, you need to keep your head on the shoulders and then decide, okay, I need to buy this property, I need to renovate my place, but you need to be more clearer on the expenditure part. Okay, I don't want to waste my money. I don't want to spend on things which really don't matter to me, or I don't want to waste my energy on being more authoritative, being more egoistical. So now is the time you will be emotionally thinking about your relationships. Your perspective is going to be very different. You're not being practical. That is why sun loses Digbal also. So you will definitely be able to gain momentum, but in a very emotional manner. So this is definitely a good time. There can be some disputes that you'll be facing, and you'll be coming out of those disputes also. You will be working on that as well. Any kind of real estate matters might bring in concerns, but will be progressive at the same time also. And anything to do with your mental stress that you're going through, any kind of health issues that you're going through, you need to really focus on them more. It could be your mother, it could be yourself. So you need to focus on your health for sure. Okay. Coming to the next one, that is
Capricorn. The Cappies.
Yes, the Cappies. I did a reading today of the Capricorn native, So
that's nice.
Yeah. Please go ahead.
So Capricorn is the sign of meticulousness and careful progress and attention. It's this, the sun in the third house as the eighth lord. It can be a little challenging in terms of our initiatives. There could be some kind of potential uncertainties, but still third house activates the creative side, not necessarily the creative self-expression of the fifth house, but third house is the house of writing. Third house is the house of communication. Third house is where we interact, or how we interact with others on a daily basis. So we exchange our thoughts and ideas. So with sun in the third house, our ideas are kind of getting light, like our ideas are being seen, our ideas are being considered. So that is a good thing. But the thing is, sometimes our ideas may or may not be making it to the final round if you're expecting it, because sun is the eighth ruler. But it doesn't mean that the idea itself was bad. It doesn't mean that the thought itself was bad, but it is just that currently it's not as good as we expect it to be. So, and Saturn Sun conjunction, the conjunction of the Lord of the first and the eighth house, occult sciences. If you've been meaning to meet an astrologer, I think now is the time to get readings, so which will be hopefully good for you. And also, third house is about bringing in some kind of a disciplined approach. So, sixth, it is the 10th from the sixth. Third house is the 10th from the sixth, and therefore, this is where your daily efforts or routine has or gains some kind of an action, and that is something that you need to focus on, right? So gaining some kind of an action through your efforts, third house is effort, through your parakrama, valor, be very courageous and do things. So that is really important. Do not overthink anything. With sun in the third house, it is more important to be thoughtful. With Saturn Sun conjunction, it is important to be structured in terms of how we communicate our feelings, our thought processes to others. So Overall, I think third house is also communication. So if you have been dealing with emails, there could be a little more emails. So there will be a lot of activity related to communication, emails, conversations, and potentially there is also an opportunity for a short trip. But I think overall the tendency will be going towards sustaining your effort and properly communicating. But on the other hand, second house is activated. No more investments as long as Mars is there in the second house with Rahu. You need to safeguard your money. You don't need to make any kind of a financial planning or a financial structure. Now is the time to just lie low. And with Mars in the second house as the 11th lord, remember Mars is a Bhadaka, it's an obstructor. So in the second house, before giving some kind of money, it is going to take. So make sure that you don't make any impulsive or rash financial decisions. If you are involved in financial markets, now is not the time to speculate. Do not speculate at this point of time, because what you think is going to be a profit is probably not going to be, because of this Mars Rahu conjunction creating an illusion. Like there is always an unpredictability. So situations related to family matters, any kind of breaks or challenges, interruptions, disruptions in family could flare up. But it is important to make sure that you deal with tact and not too much of words. Do not say things that you cannot take back again. So be very careful in terms of how you deal with their family situations. If something is inflammatory, try to reduce it and do not pour oil in fire. So it's again going to aggravate the situation. But Jupiter is turning direct in the sixth house. Your health issues that you've been facing could slowly be passing out. So that is a good news. Productivity will increase with sixth house Jupiter. There will be more scope for daily organizations. With Jupiter, the problem is it's all about exaggeration and expansion. And with retrograde Jupiter, we probably made a lot of efforts to kind of bring things together. Whatever were scattered is already kind of getting together to one place, and now it is just moving forward. So I think this is a very interesting period with some consequences and with some opportunity for Capricorn rising natives.
No, overall, a good period. I would say third house transit is definitely good for courage, valor, bold decisions if you have to make any, and also, any kind of illness if you have been going through. It is also the recovery part. And any kind of long standing or long awaited news, you definitely are going to get that as well. You will win over arguments. You'll be courageous. You will definitely have improvement in all aspects of life. And also, in case you are waiting for a job, a promotion, or a transfer, you will get some news related to that also. It is good for defeating your competitors. In case you have had issues in your relationship, you will maintain cordiality. You will have definitely good relation with your siblings, neighbors, friends. Just do take care of your money matters, your finances, because eighth lord is in the third house. So anything, if you have to file your taxes, insurance, etc., or other people's money if you're working on, or any kind of shared resources, so you need to really work on that. Overall, I would say it is a good period for you guys. It's one of the best transits. I call this third house transit. Coming to the next one, the Aquarius. I might just leave now.
Okay.
Okay. Take care, everyone. Blessed.
Thanks. Aquarius rising. The sun is entering the second house as the seventh lord. So, whether we like it or not, the second and seventh, as much as they are in aversion from each other, they're very deeply interconnected, because family is spouse and spouse is family in many ways. So it's and this is the part of area where the second house is active, which indicates that family and finance comes into the forefront. The structures that we have developed with Saturn in the second house is going to find meaning. It is going to find value. It is going to find light during the time when the sun is placed in the second house. The perceived value of what we think it is going to increase. So in case you are a business owner or you're a product owner, when if you have priced something at 500 rupees and now you'll be comfortable pricing at 800 rupees. So if you're an astrologer and if you've been charging 2000 rupees for half an hour, you'd be confident charging 3000 rupees for half an hour. So just an example, it doesn't mean that you have to follow what I'm saying. But anyway, and I think the Saturn Sun conjunction as the seventh ruler, it's important that the first and the seventh, that is self and the relationships and everything, is coming together in the second house, where we are all kind of growing towards finding our own values. So first, the conjunction of the first and the seventh lord indicates that we need to move along with our spouse. We need to move along with our collaborators. We need to move along with other people in our life who have been part of it for a very long time. And more importantly, family, second house, family. So spend more time with your spouse, spend more time with your family members. And I think that is going to be really important, and it is going to bring some kind of a long-term refreshment that could help you also find out some of the challenging aspects within the family circles. Venus, the lord of the fourth and the ninth, is exalted in the second house. There is a good opportunity for you to earn money if money is being stuck from somewhere and it's not coming out. And if it is frozen somewhere, I think now is the time for you to get that money. A lot of it depends on your natal chart, but I think practically in terms of transits, Venus, the lord of the fourth and the ninth in the second, is a good opportunity to kind of earn some income, and it can also point out to some kind of ancestral income as well. So it's a good period overall for Aquarius rising natives, and second house matters will come to forefront, be it budgeting, dealing with your financial resources, financial planning, decisions about finances or income could play a very major role. Also, expense with Venus in exaltation. It is good to earn income, but Venus also kind of propels you to kind of spend money. So it's important that we focus on building some kind of a long-term security, especially with Saturn in this second house. It will help us clarify the priorities regarding the money and also whatever possessions we have. We don't need to make any impulsive purchases. Always wait, hold off, and see if we need to make a particular purchase. And if we don't need to make it. So overall, I think Mars and Rahu in the first house, there is a little bit of a clouded illusion that we are going through. There is this obsession towards self. There is focus, and there is kind of a need to kind of find some kind of a direction that is very, very aligned to our personal identity. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it is not. But I think we should continue to do that. It's just that we need to be a little more realistic. With Mars in the first house, there's courage. There is also determination and grit to move forward. There is all kind of energy that we need to kind of build ourselves and make progress. But the risk is also impatience and confrontation. With Mars in the first house, we always tend to be impatient, and we always tend to be confrontational with other people because it is directly opposing the seventh house. And we need to be very, very careful in terms of how we interact and how we speak with other people. So we don't need to present a confrontational position, but alternatively, we could present a supportive position, and that could bring a lot more zeal and also betterment to the entire situation altogether. So it's a good thing to set ambitions. It is a good thing to set goals for the year. But again, with Mars and Rahu, maybe we set unrealistic goals. So be very sure that you set realistic goals and don't set unrealistic goals. And Jupiter turning direct in Gemini in the fifth house is going to activate creativity and joy, and take care of your children and spend a little more time with children. And that is something that is already covered in the house of second house, which is the family, when we spoke about Sun, Saturn, and Venus. So fifth house, people who are single, romantic opportunities might appear or reappear, but be very careful about who you are engaging with, because Mercury, the ruler of the fifth house, is still retrograde. We need to wait until the 20th or 21st of March to be very sure about all these aspects. So Think about your personal identity, but don't be obsessed about your personal identity. Try to find perceived value of what you possess and spend more time with your family and probably go on a picnic with your family, which is a good thing. Lastly, I think we are coming to Pisces rising. Pisces rising, sixth ruler, Sun, is in the first house. Sixth ruler is health. Primarily, but also debts and diseases is also one of those things that we need to deal with. But Sun in the first house is identity. Sun throws light on us. Sun throws light on self, which means that we are appearing very, very bright in front of the world. So we will be seen by people. So it is up to us to make sure that it is not for the wrong reasons. So Venus, the third and the eighth lord in the first house, could bring some kind of challenges, but also it could also bring some kind of creative or entertainment related projects if you are Pisces rising native. So that is a good thing for Pisces rising natives, but it will come with huge amount of responsibility because Venus is also the 11th lord and Sun, another 6th lord. Two Dushtana lords are placed in the in fact, three Dushtana lords: Saturn, Sun, and Venus. So all three Dushtana lords are placed in the first house. So it's a very, very important period where you need to be careful. You're dealing with so many transformations. You have to deal with responsibilities. You have to deal with rediscovery. You need to deal with redefining your own identity because of this identity crisis of three planets placed in the first house. But overall, this is not the time to kind of make any important personal decisions because of the fact that there's too much of tension in the first house. Take your time. Sun, the first house, identity, you need to kind of revitalize yourself. Sun is the lord of vitality. So if you've been pushing yourself too hard, it's better you take a little bit of a break. Saturn, the lord of the 12th house, indicates that you need some isolation. As much as you're being seen by people, I think there is also some kind of an isolation which you need to deal with, and it is actually good for you. You look at withdrawal, you look at release, you look at separation from the chaotic situations in the world, and maybe take a day or two off from your work or something and try to kind of spend that time only for yourself and only with yourself. Despite the fact that there is a lot of increased visibility, I think you need to kind of slow down and be patient and deal with things that concerns yourself and your inner self, more importantly. Do not go for any loans. Do not go for any kind of investments for sure, uh, because the 12th house is active. Mars, Rahu, there is a the speed with which you invest is the exact speed that you will lose. So do not do any kind of investments. Yoga Karaka Mars is placed in the 9th house in conjunction with Rahu. So there is a good chance for you to face loss. So do not park your money anywhere. Be very careful. And Mars also rules the second house of income and money. So be very careful about your spendings and do not be stressed as a result of all those spendings and challenges. So there should be some kind of a self-control in terms of how you spend. Do not spend anything during this period. Save for the next month or a later period. Jupiter is turning direct in the fourth house. One good thing, 10th lord turning direct in the fourth house, and the lord, the rising sign, turning direct in the fourth house. But you will find comfort in isolation and transform this isolation into solitude, and you will find that comfort. It is not a bad idea to go on a solo trip for a week or so. If you have the means, I think you should surely do it. Domestic matters will come forward, and there will be some things that you need to tend to. And sometimes home will be office, and sometimes office will be home because of the 10th lord in the fourth. So that is a very natural situation. So overall, I think this is a very, very conscious period where Pisces rising natives will need to rest and look for inner reflection and stay away from the overall madness that is going on, not just with you, but also with the outer world. With that, I think we come towards the end of this Sun in Pisces session, which covers the ephemeric aspects that Vanitaji mentioned in terms of dates, and also mundane discussion as to how things are going to fare for India over the period of Sun's transit through Pisces, and also each rising sign starting from Aries to Pisces. With that, I wish you, on behalf of Vanitaji as well, wish you a very good Sun's transit in Pisces, and hopefully you'll be able to take care of yourself and stay away from the chaos and have some peace.